So the idea here, be a melee minion build, trying to use the Chober Chaber. It's got 50 spirit, kind of nice. 100 intelligence requirement is added, and you get increases and reductions to minion damage, okay, for you. So that means things like increased damage here would work, minion damage, but something like crit, like this, minions have increased crit chance, does not work. That also means that if you have a minion and you put on like brutality for more physical damage, those don't work either. It's not like you can support a minion and then it affects you. It's just these nodes. Like, this would be insane if the increases to minion damage also took into account like the supports that are on here. You know, like if you got some of these supports that you threw on here too, and that added to your damage, well then I think we'd be talking. Then I think we'd have pretty insane weapon that could be scaled like amazingly. Because then you could have like multiple different minion types, and you could just be like throwing damage supports on all of them. You'd have like more multipliers all over the place for like your mace attacks. It would be probably one of like the most powerful builds in the game then. You know, like that would be amazing. So that's the tree pretty much. I did grab 20 all res here for minions, 20 all res here for minions. Okay, because they were dying a bit and this helped a little. The rest are minion damage nodes like these, like some here, some over here. I grabbed armor energy shield nodes like here and here, and then some more energy shield here, some mana regen, as well as more mana regen with 10% of damage taken from mana before life, which makes us a little bit tankier. All right, the jewels just have some minion damage on them with like energy shield threshold. This one has minion damage as well as threshold with energy shield, and 4% of damage is taken from mana before life. So that kind of pairs nicely with mental perseverance, you know. So I have 14% damage taken from mana before life. It's not bad. I've got Gemling because the requirements are all over the place to try to use mace skills and have minions. You need lots of strength and intelligence. So we have gem studded. You can use 2 different supports. That kind of helps. We also have reduced requirements here. A total of 12% with those 3 nodes. 3% increased attributes. And then I took quality here and quality here. The quality is kind of nice. These guys get more stun, you know, for quality. For the mages, they get energy shield based on their life, which is pretty sweet. So 32% of their max life has extra energy shield. It's a lot. Look, they actually are getting over 1,000 energy shield, and they have over 2,000 life. So the storm mages are quite good, actually. I like them. So the idea here is to make me do stuff, right? Like, I can fight too, right? That's kind of like the concept that they want you to do with this kind of unique here. Since buffing the damage of the minions buffs your damage too, right? And it's a mace, so you have to use mace skills. And so to make minions better, I got Giant's Blood so that I can have a scepter. Giant's Blood, though, triples the requirements of everything. So you do need, like I said, some of these attribute reductions in order to get this going. So I've got a Hammer of the Gods. It's really not good. You need gem levels for it to be good. But I was testing some stuff out, like with Brink and these brutes. I did have a setup where I was running like all brutes and hoping that their heavy stun ability would give me Valour. It does not. So I put Brink on so that they cannot heavy stun. And then I could get the heavy stun with Boneshatter, you know? And then what ends up happening is you just don't build enough Valour. I don't know. It just doesn't work. Like on a boss, you can hit him and you'll get a bunch of Valour. But all the heavy stunning a rare doesn't give you enough to use a Hammer of the Gods. So it ends up not being very good. So it's honestly better off to go like Impact Shockwave like this and let these guys have a little AoE to their damage and let them heavy stun things. And then instead of me trying to get heavy stuns with Boneshatter, it's better off for me to just like lay Earthquake and then lay Earthshatters like this, and then do that, and kind of get some AoE damage. So that's kind of how I'm fighting alongside. I have Energy Barrier here and here, so you can use it twice because I'm a gemling. So that means when I'm Earthquaking or when I'm Earthshattering, if I get stunned, I can regenerate some of that energy shield. All right, so we have 0 Chaos Res. So that's kind of a flaw in the build here. That can get me killed. Mishmash of defenses here, 44% armor, 3% evasion, 2500 energy shield, 1800 life. 75 on everything except the chaos. We have nothing. So, oh well, I guess. I had to use Hand of Wisdom in action. This is from Standard League, so the numbers aren't going to look right, but I don't think they're scaling off that. But yeah, I had to use this just to get my damage up there a little bit and give myself some stats and attack speed and stuff because we're super slow. I do have 90 spirit on this armor, and then 153 on the scepter with 4 Dominion. And then you get 50 spirit here with this. This is 2 Dominion skills with a bunch of accuracy, which I needed. I was whiffing all the time. 2 Dominion skills with accuracy as well. And then it has all energy shield mods with some stats that we need. Boots, we need stats. Evasion, energy shield, armor evasion, and then armor energy shield. Like I said, a mishmash of things, but that's kind of the only gear I had that was getting me enough spirit and everything at the same time and enough stats at the same time. So let's go into a map. We've got more monster life with increased magic pack size, okay? That's all we're going to do. 81% more life, and it's a level 80 map. All right, so let's see how this goes. The thing that really hurts with this build is ground effects, because with all the minions on screen and stuff too, and you're trying to see what's happening, you know, it's hard. Look, the Storm Mages are quite good. You can actually just make this build better by just going pretty much all Storm Mages and then just standing there, not doing anything. So I'll show you. So this is the mixture of brutes with them, and I kind of like this for the aggro that the brutes give you. And they're bigger because they do have this enormity support. All right, so those guys have ground effects. I hate that. All the poison on the ground sucks. All right, here we go. Oh gosh, we're so slow. There, I just Boneshattered those guys. That was nice. And it actually did okay damage. We're in, remember, T15 map, level 80. So what I really want out of this weapon is, like, I just wish this were a quarterstaff, you know, and that it had, like, I wish this were a quarterstaff and it had like 2 or 3 Dominion skills on it. And then I feel like it would be really fun to play instead of the mace skills. But I'm trying to make it work, all right? So here's some Earthquake, Earthshatter. Not bad. Here we go. First test here. Here's a rare that's really messing me up already. Ground effects, look out. Here, let's Boneshatter him. Boom. Oh no. It's just me and him. Minions, where are you? Yeah. Shows you how good our melee capability actually is, you know? Like, most of our damage is just the minions. Okay. We're making it. We're making it. Here's another rare. Minions took care of him. By the time I even got over to him, he was almost dead. So I guess I could go over some of these supports here. So we have Impact Shockwave for the brutes. The other option there is Brink, because then they won't heavy stun, and then I can get the Boneshatter. The idea there was that I could then use Hammer of the Gods once I get Valour, but I'm just finding that I'm really not getting enough Valour in between fights to even use Hammer of the Gods. So if you do fight a boss, though, putting Brink on and letting them build up stun can help. They have Brutality for more damage. Enormity for more damage in life, but you can use it, but there's a bigger cost for spirit, and then +1 to physical. Like I said, Hammer of the Gods is not that great for me right now. It's better with gem levels, so this weapon is not good for it. Stampede is there because I was just kind of trying it out, but the main attacks I'm using are Earthshatter with Energy Barrier, Aftershock, Attack Speed, and then Upheaval for the additional fissures. Energy Barrier as well on Earthquake with less skill effect, more damage for Heavy Swing, and then AoE. And then I have Infernal Cry to set off those Earthshatter spikes, you know, like this. That blows them up, right? Okay, the mages, I was lucky enough to get a level 20 gem and a perfect Jeweler's Orb in the same unique strongbox. So I'm glad they buffed those. That's kind of nice. So they are level 30 with my gear and with some of these supports in here. +1 minion, +1 lightning, more cast speed. Execute, 50% more damage with hits against enemies on low life is pretty good, I think. And then penetration. So that's nice. Boneshatter, we do have impact shockwave just like the brutes. So if I happen to prime them for heavy stun, I can do that. I can break their armor. I can explode when they break armor, and then I have just heft. Leap slam, holy descent, so I can get a little regen going for me and the minions. It actually works on both, see? So you can actually see them get the regen as well. And then I do have cadence, because what happens is I end up using this a few times, and then each time you use it, you get a little bit more skill speed. So it ends up going a little faster, and then just momentum for the distance that you travel with more damage. And then Mace Strike, attack speed. We've got concentrated effect, Splinter to break armor, and then close combat, and then execute on this as well. All right, here we go. I'm going to turn off the acceleration shrine because I don't think it's a fair when you're showcasing to take a shrine, you know? Here we go. So see, it's like serviceable. Like I'm actually doing stuff, but the build would really need to be min-maxed a lot, and it's kind of hard though. It's like, what else can I do? I've got 4 to skills, 150 spirit. I've got 90 spirit on this chest. I've got 2 to minion skills here. I guess this could be better. It could not, instead of being armor evasion, it could be like just pure energy shield or armor energy shield. I've got 2 to minion here. This could be 3, I guess, but this has so much energy shield and it's got stats. It's like, what am I supposed to do? The boots, I guess, instead of being evasion energy shield, they could be armor energy shield. That would be better for me. But I need those stats and I need the res and everything. This is kind of like, I don't know, maybe you have to find a really insanely good pair of gloves, but this just gives me damage. The belt could be better because this is an old belt before the patch where they gave you implicits for charm slots. But it had a lot of strength and it did have cold and lightning rest. I just couldn't really switch it out yet. So I don't know. It's like, what am I supposed to min-max here exactly? I'm kind of thinking that this is just the limits of using this weapon and trying to use it in the way that they've designed it. I feel like I've kind of hit that limit, you know? And taking Chaos Inoculation, for example, would be kind of tough. You'd have to kind of go the opposite side of the tree, you know? So I don't know. It's like, maybe if you have ideas of how this would work better, maybe someone else has made this work. Would be interested to see that, I guess. We're getting killed by poison. Yeah, that is the ground effects are really, really damaging for me. All right, strong box, let's do that. Try to move out of the way here. That was nice. Oof. Yikes. They all died. There we go. It's up to me now. There we go. They came back. They resurrected. Get them. So they knocked him over before I could get it. That's okay though. Which is why I was saying sometimes you might want to just put Brink on if you really want to get the heavy stuns and you don't want your brutes to get the heavy stuns. Here, we got it. See, I heavy stun him, but I don't have any ability to use Hammer of the Gods still, so it doesn't work on just heavy stunning like one rare. Yikes. Look at I'm almost dead. Come on. Yeah, see, he stunned me, and now my energy shield went back up. That was cool, but then I almost died anyway. So, you really do need the minions. I mean, you can't just sit there and face tank with just this. It just doesn't work. Okay, a little Earthquake, Earthshatter, leap attack over here. Try to get a Boneshatter in. That was nice. It's another rare. Proximal tangibility, okay. Get them, dudes. There we go. Ooh, see, he was taking me down, man. Nice. That brute heavy stun that guy with impact with Boneshatter. I kind of like that they also have Boneshatter. It's cool. Jeez, ground effects, man. Ooh, Rogue Exile.
You won't get away with this. No.
Let's get him, guys. Come on. There we go. We got Hammer of the Gods. Look at that. He almost killed me. I don't really know why. Was it ground effects? I don't know. Okay. Yeah. See, that was kind of sick. That was sweet. That was a double Boneshatter. One from me and one from the brute. Okay, so this is level 80 map, and the monsters do have 81% more life, just so we know. Just so everyone's aware. Okay, so final thoughts about this. I think, like I said, I think this would just be perfect, in my opinion, if it was just a quarterstaff. You know? Like, I just want a quarterstaff that basically does this and gives you some minion skills, maybe, because to make this really work better, you really do need a scepter in the offhand. But anyway, Giant's Blood Chober Chaber. If you could snapshot your summoned minions, then maybe you could figure out a setup where you really buff the skills, and then on swap you have something else. You would have a lot less minions, you know, because of all the spirit that you're getting from these two things here. But if you could, like, you know, equip minion skills, minion skills, minion skills, minion skills, have them snapshot summon, and then switch to like a quarterstaff or like a spear setup or something, then you'd have like a pretty good like minion and melee build. And you'd probably have to do some weapon set passive stuff in order to get the minion damage and then switch it and all that, you know. As it stands, I feel like I did what this unique kind of allows you to do and just kind of hit the limit. You know, I'm doing tier 15 maps slowly, and then with an atlas where the boss nodes are all taken like up here like this, you know, I have 10 out of 10. I mean, it really can't, like, it's kind of a long, there's long boss encounters. I didn't even show one in the showcase because you're just sitting there just kind of dancing around. You can't really tank anything with your character, so you end up just kind of doing a few hits here and there, running away, letting the minions do all the damage. So not exactly the fantasy that I was hoping for, you know. I think that maybe if you completely min-max this, it could be okay. I like this in theory. Like, I like the concept of this weapon. I like the idea that you get to scale minion damage and then it can affect you too. That's cool. Kind of wish there were more ways to do that with other weapon types. The other thing I want to say is, like, about snapshotting. I did a video about how to fix zombies. If zombies could be fixed so that when you summon them with power charges, they don't have a duration, or their duration is greatly extended and they don't disappear when you run away from them, then you could snapshot zombies with stuff on swap. And with those, with the power charges, they are strong enough, I think, that you don't absolutely have to take all the minion damage nodes. So I kind of hope that they do an update to zombies, because they would be really good for snapshotting and making hybrid builds if you could get them to last like indefinitely or a lot longer, like several minutes from power charges. That would be cool. So that's kind of my takeaways from using this unique, is that I did what I think you can do with it, and the results were like okay. The one nice thing about going Giant's Blood with this is using it in one hand with a scepter, and like I said, you probably just want soul cores in here so that you can get 95 spirit on a weapon. That's probably the best case for this. And then just don't use any actual attacks. Just allow more minions. Just summon all storm mages and just walk through the game. That'd probably be a better build, honestly. So overall, it's like, it kind of works, but it's kind of a fail at the same time. Like, this would be insane if the increases to minion damage also took into account, like, the supports that are on here. You know, like if you got some of these supports that you threw on here too, and that added to your damage, well, then I think we'd be talking. Then I think we'd have a pretty insane weapon that could be scaled amazingly. Because then you could have like multiple different minion types, and you could just be like throwing damage supports on all of them. You'd have like more multipliers all over the place for like your mace attacks. It would be probably one of like the most powerful builds in the game then, you know, like that would be amazing.